How do you like your steak? Are you a rare person? Are you a m- m- well done person? Like what kind of steak eater are you? Now, most of you all know that I am I know my way around a grill, right? And I used to be a well done steak guy until I did the carnivore diet for some time and realized I kind of like medium well, or and definitely like medium rare. Like it's gotten pretty good. Now, I bring all that up because we are going to watch the steak that's being cooked in South Korea. And South Korea has decided that this steak they want, they were gonna deliver it on a plate on December 20th, but they said that might not be to everybody's liking. So we moved it back a day to January. Now they've moved it to March because I think they want this thing to be well cooked. Jason, what are you talking about? Well, I appreciate you asking. We're talking about that Johnny Somali, and Johnny Somali is getting cooked in South Carolina. So I bet you he wish he was in South Carolina, in South Korea. Yo, this is crazy. Let me bring our good friend of the channel, Legal Mindset, who is not only a legal mind, but he's also in South Korea. Great guy. He's a lawyer from the United States that now lives in South Korea, and he has made it his own personal mission to shine light on this case. And he has been doing a serious goodwill for us here, giving us the inside scoop. So if you're not following Legal Mindset, change that right now. Also, change your way you eat your steak. Medium rare is fantastic. But besides that, change that, follow Legal Mindset. Let's go see what he's talking about. So Johnny Somali is in a lot of trouble in South Korea. And he was going to have his court case next weekend on the 20th of December. Out of the blue, they decided to move it to like January, and just out of the blue. And then recently the judge has decided, so this wasn't Johnny's team, this wasn't the prosecution's team, this is the judge said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna check this out in March. So he pushed it back to March. Now, the reason I say that Johnny Somali is cooked is because, unlike in the United States where somebody's in jail on the taxpayer's dime, in South Korea they just give you the charge and they leave you alone. You got to go back to work. You got to go take care of your responsibilities, so on and so forth. Well, the only problem is Johnny Somali is not in South Korea on a work visa. And who's going to give him a work visa, right? He was there as a nuisance streamer. So his way of making income, his way of making a living was through his streaming. Well, he can't be a nuisance streamer. That's what's gotten him in trouble. So, and nobody's going to follow him just for regular content. So Johnny Somali is cooked, flambéed even. Let's bring Legal Mindset in and let him explain. Let's go.
All right, let's get started, shall we?
Sorry about that.
I've got a PowerPoint for you, of course, as always.
Always.
So we're going to talk about what happened, why the change, which is a little bit of fact, a little bit of speculation, and what's going on in the Johnny Somali case. So here we go. So officially, we have an update that Johnny Somali, aka Ramzi Khalid Ismail, the date of his trial has been moved by the judge. So I'm going to say this a couple times. By the judge, which is very material. It was not at the request of the defense counsel or of Ramzi. In fact, I have it on good word that he, in fact, has said both publicly and privately that he thought he was going to be leaving before the end of the year. He thought he was going to show up to the trial and he was going to walk out and go home and be free to go and pay a fine and walk out. Now he is not going to be leaving for a very, very long time. A very, very long time. So
cooked.
It has been moved from December 20th, which means there will be no trial on December 20th. So if you were somebody who was going to go out there and wait outside the courtroom and stuff like that, you don't got to anymore. It has now been moved. Now, this is mostly good news. This is mostly good news. However, there's one part that's a little bit bad, and I'll get to that. So we're going to talk about that today. So first of all, what's the actual day? The specific date of the trial, which I know everybody is going to copy me on. Everybody's going to take this information, and that's fine. I want to give it to the world. Is March 7th, 2025. Okay? March 7th, 2025. So we've got to wait that's almost what, 4 months, 4 months. So one thing that you guys may have heard of in the American context is you may have heard of the concept of speedy trial. So, you have the right to a speedy trial. You have the right to, have your claim adjudicated, fairly quickly. That's not the case in Korea, right? There's not really the same sort of ability to push them to trial earlier. So the thing is about this being requested by the judge, and let me go back here, is this is not coming from Johnny's counsel. Now, oftentimes, a defense counsel will want to delay the trial, but because it's by the judge, there's no way to get it sooner. He cannot leave Korea until his trial, even if he goes to trial and pleads guilty. And mind you, like I said, even if he pleads guilty,
wow,
it's not over on March 7th.
Mm-mm.
It would probably be April before he's sentenced, even if he shows up and pleads guilty.
Wow.
So he now has, I would argue, 4 months of costs that he's got to pay, and he cannot stream. Because, by the way, he has no work visa. If he starts streaming while he's there, it's very clear, like in that case specifically, where he's not on a work visa, he shouldn't be doing anything. So he's got other potential violations if he's making money that way, right? He's stuck. No money, no friends, no nothing else. Very few friends. And I guarantee you, by the way, after 4 months, all those friends, those people that have been his cuddle buddies, they're going to get real annoyed with him after 4 months of him being a bum, after 4 months of him being a freeloader. Imagine if someone's on your couch for 4 months. It's one thing if it's 1 month. It's another if it's 4 months. So let's go through some of the facts here, because there's going to be a lot of misinformation on this, and I want to clear all this up. Because there's a lot of other channels, and guys, I do want to be very clear. There are a lot of other channels that are providing misinformation and even dangerous misinformation. So please be very, very careful with the stuff you consume and watch. People will forward me stuff and they'll say, oh, look, these are statements by Johnny or Gino that they're making, and they're from old videos that people are recycling. Now, I'm honest with you guys. Sometimes I do review old video, but I say, hey, it's an old video, and I'm reviewing it for the sake of legal analysis, for the sake of determining whether or not crimes were committed, potentially one way or another. But people are like, oh, look, Gino's turning on Johnny. And they send me clips, and it's from a video that's from, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. Right. So be very careful with this information. But that said, with this, the facts.
And that's why I rock with Legal Mindset. Legal Mindset is doing his very best to be as upfront, as transparent, and keep you in the know as possible. So shout out to Legal Mindset. I always appreciate what he's doing over there. So that's why I usually give you all pretty much whatever thus saith Legal Mindset, because it's usually going to be something that's been tested, and it's not going to be any fluff in that. So let's get back to it.
We right now have the same charges, which for now, and the key word is here, for now, the only charges we have against him are two things: obstruction of business and violation of the Minor Crimes Act. Okay? Everything else is not at trial yet for now. So that's all we have. We have the same court and courtroom for now. Now, I think that they may, and I don't want to spoil anything, but the particular courtroom he's in is not very big, and I think there may be more people attending than they expect, so they might want to move him up to the big courtroom. But that said, he's still in the same courtroom for now, under the jurisdiction of, like we talked about last stream, 102, we talked about the Western District. He's under the jurisdiction of the Western District. Same prosecutor for now. Same judge for now. Now, this is going to change. So the prosecutor and judge are going to change. Yes. Oh, yes. So we're going to pay attention to that. All right. So now we're going to get into the hypo section. Why did the judge change this? Because this is something the judge decided to do. It's not something that Ramsey said, not something the prosecutor wanted. It's something the judge decided to do. Now, the judge is privy to a lot of information. All right, so everything here is a hypothesis, but it is a hypothesis that is based on, I think, good information. And it's based on like reasonable, educated guesses. So this is a hypothesis that is based on educated guesses, based on talking to people with experience in the system, etc. So why would the judge move this? Well, I want to make it clear. The issue is perhaps that this went too quickly through the stages of the criminal process. So what I think may have happened here is I think this may have jumped too quickly from stage 1 to stage 4. And typically, like I said, that stage 2 and 3 are each supposed to take 2 to 4 months. So a process that was supposed to take up to 6 to 8 months happened in less than a month. So both the police investigation and the prosecutors set this for trial in less than a month. And now they're reeling back and they're saying, okay, we're going to push it out again, which is very interesting because now it's looking more like a regular timeline. So if you look at this going down in November and then a trial in March, that looks more like a typical Korean investigation speed, right? It's about 4 or 5 months of investigation. That's more typical than 1 or 2 months. So this was going very, very fast, but there's a lot of things they could have realized when this was going very, very fast. And let's look at that. What could they realize? Well, first of all, they could have realized they could be evidentiary issues. So let's focus on this. So here's a theory. Once again, these are all theories. Now, they're theories based on conversations with Korean lawyers, people with knowledge in the Korean legal system, etc. But the theory number 1, the judge is aware of the issues regarding the evidence, witnesses, or investigation. So meaning they want more witnesses to come forward. They want more evidence. They need more investigation. So the process would normally take months, and it was expedited to move it to December 20th. So moving it to March 7th, we'll go back to a normal pace. So I'm kind of going to give you like a pro-con, like this is why this theory could be legit. And then I'm going to argue against that theory. I'm going to give you a counterpoint. So it's very possible they are pushing it out to March to get more evidence. However, the counterpoint to this is that the charges against him are a slam dunk with the evidence they have. With the evidence they have, the clear video, they don't need a lot of witnesses or anything else. They just show the video and it's like, yep, he's guilty, done. So this one, while it could be true, it's not necessarily bulletproof as a theory. Next, and this is the one that I think most of you guys are talking about. And a lot of people are talking about adding charges. So of course,
that's what I think.
By delaying, you have more opportunity to add charges. So the judge is aware of many other charges that may be added to his case. March 2025 allows plenty of time to properly investigate or add other crimes to the trial docket. We know there's many other complaints against Ramsey, both victim complaints and third-party reports. So that's kind of the difference we talked about last time. And I talked about one of the more nitpicky details is there is a difference in the seriousness with which a victim reports a crime and a third party reports a crime. If a victim reports a crime, they take it very seriously. If a third party reports a crime, they do not take that as seriously unless there's a lot of people reporting the crime, which could be the case here. The counterpoint to adding charges is many of the things happen outside the Western District. So they're outside the jurisdiction of the current court. So why would the judge in the Western District give a, excuse my crassness, but why would they care about what happened in Jamshil, which is in the Eastern District? So for example, if we're talking about the Lotte World incident, if we're talking about a lot of the other kind of back and forth with the Korean YouTubers and Johnny Somali, a lot of that happened in Jamshil in the Eastern District. So why would the Western District delay to add charges that would go in the Eastern District? Well, it could be to counter the counter that they're thinking about the pizza incident. Now, the pizza incident was a different night, but it is fully within the power of the Western District Court to bring into the same case anything that falls within its jurisdiction, i.e. that happened in Hongdae. So if two things happen in Hongdae, even on different nights, which they did, they happened on different nights, they could bring that within the purview of the court. Theory 1 was evidence. Theory 2 is charges. And this is one of my, the ones where I think it's very, very relevant is judge rotation. So this is something I learned about today, once again, from people who have a very deep knowledge of the Korean legal system. I am not a Korean lawyer, so I rely on other people, and this is something that was explained to me. So in Korea, judges and prosecutors are rotated. So they don't stay judges and prosecutors the entire time. So here's the thing. These charges were filed now, but there's a very good chance that if they started in December and they had an actual trial, there might be a new judge, because new judges and potentially prosecutors are coming in 2025. So imagine you have a new judge and they come in and they're halfway through a trial. That's kind of a pain. But if you come in and this is something that you're dealing with from the start, that's different. So you're handling the entire case open to close. And that can be a good thing. That can be a good thing. By the way, this is obviously pretended South Korea. These are American, Judge Judy over here and the judge from Providence. Very nice guy. Okay, so the theory is, this is the kind of crazy theory, is that the judge wants out. So the judge might not want anything to do with this case. The judge may be like, you know what? Screw this case. I'm out. And he may have bumped it because of that. And my support for that is, would you want to deal with the Johnny Somali case as a judge, this mess? Now, to counter, I don't know the judge's state of mind. This really relies on me, like looking into the judge's state of mind. But to be honest, people kicking the can down the road is a story as old as time. So let's go to my prediction. Okay. So here's my prediction. This is a good thing because, number one, it gives time to investigate other crimes. We've put out there that there are potentially other crimes that he's committed. Yeah. That he's potentially done quite a number of things which should be investigated and should be looked into. Number two, victims can come forward. So, for example, I told you guys victim statements are more powerful than a statement that's just coming from a third party. Third, it forces him into prison until mid to late 2025. Now, I said this before. Johnny Somali is the one who's locked up because he's got to pay the money. He's got to stay there. He can't go anywhere. And everyone knows who he is. If he starts messing around, people are going to be on him. He cannot make his normal content. He can't work. He can't do anything. So it's effective prison. So honestly, if he gets a year in prison as a sentence, which is possible, he could get a year. And he's been already in Korea for almost a year with the trial, waiting for it to end. Well, then that's effectively 2 years. You've effectively doubled his sentence by keeping him in there. And then you throw him in the prison, and then you send him to the cabbages. So let's continue my prediction here. Remember, he must pay for himself. He cannot work. And food alone is in the thousands. Now, the only negative thing, because you know me, I am 100% objective. The only negative thing is that over time, the amount of public interest will drop. So YouTubers are not, I'm not going to cover this constantly for 4 months. I am going to cover other topics too. Now, I'm not going to let this go when it comes close to March. I'm going to spin this up again.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm also going to cover this updates, but maybe I just have an update once a week. Maybe I have an update once every other week. Maybe there's not that much. There will be updates though. I guarantee you there will be updates, right? But there won't be updates every single day. No, of course not. Right? And part of that is that the YouTubers won't cover it as much. It won't go as far. Some public pressure will drop. Whereas the 20th, it would have been very much in the forefront of everybody's mind. March will be a little bit in the back end. That's probably the only bad thing. Other than that, everything else is good. From a legal procedural standpoint, everything else is good.
So the two guys, they have a YouTube channel called Tim and D TV. The content that I'm going to talk about is on their channel. They do a really good job explaining how this came to be.
What happened?
Essentially, it was a marketing ploy. It was
Man, thank you so much, Legal Mindset. Thank you so much for that. And that's the Johnny Somali case. Hopefully, if you've been following it, he gave you a good update on what's going on, why it's moved, and so forth, and what could be the ramifications of it. Let me know down in the comments below if you've been following it. What do you think will happen? What do you think is your theory as it relates to this case? I'm looking forward to hearing from you rather. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Take care.
Hit that like for Devil Christian. Yo, for Devil Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for Devil Christian. For Devil Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for Devil Christian.